The greatest strategic failure in modern marketing is the short-form delusion. Believing that because attention spans are short, you can't build the deep trust required for a high-ticket sale while ignoring the neurological fact that trust takes time. So, what if we could turn that biological fact into an automated strategy? Well, today, we're diving into a system designed to do just that, to build real conviction at scale.
And this, right here, is the central paradox that most marketers get completely wrong. I mean, we live in an era that is obsessed with 15-second videos, right? So how could something so deliberately long be the secret weapon for high-ticket sales? Well, it's because a click is cheap, it's fleeting, it's forgotten in an instant. But winning a soul? That's about creating a customer for life. Someone who doesn't just buy from you, but truly believes in what you do. And that requires a real investment of time, from them and from you. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the architecture designed to make that investment pay off automatically.
So what's the core problem that anyone trying to sell something complex or expensive online is facing? It's something the source material calls the conviction deficit. You know the feeling. You're running ads, you're getting the clicks, maybe you're even getting leads on the books, but then you hit a brick wall. The sales call goes nowhere. The checkout page gets abandoned. Why? Because short-form content is fantastic for sparking curiosity, but it just wasn't built to forge the deep, resilient trust you need for someone to make a big investment. It's great at creating awareness, but it fails completely at building belief.
And this is the trap that so many brands fall into. They try to micro-sell. They take their big idea and chop it up into these tiny, bite-sized pieces, hoping they can just sneak it past a person's attention span. But here's the result. Your customer might get the what. They can list off the features of your product, but they have zero connection to the who behind it. And more importantly, they don't feel the why this actually matters. And without that vital connection, a $2,000, $5,000, or even $10,000 purchase feels totally unjustified.
So, okay, if the problem is a deep lack of time and trust, the answer isn't to go faster. Nope. The answer is to build a bridge. And this bridge isn't just a tactic, it's a complete system designed to automate a trust-building ritual, turning a viewer's time, minute by minute, into solid conviction.
Let's put a formal name to this, the Immersion-Automation Bridge. Now, I want to be really clear. This is not just a pre-recorded video you stick on a web page. It is an architectural system. It's a deliberately designed process that uses automation to create an immersive educational experience. And the goal is incredibly powerful, to make sure every single minute a prospect spends with you is a minute that systematically builds the conviction you need to make a sale. Think of this as the engine that lets Evergreen webinars feel personal and valuable and incredibly persuasive, even years after you've recorded. So how does this bridge actually work? Well, it stands on three crucial pillars. First, there's temporal commitment. That's the act of asking for and getting someone's time. Second is automated immersion. That's the experience you deliver that holds their attention. And finally, the third pillar, the invisible handoff. This is the seamless, natural transition from teaching into your offer. Let's break down each one. Okay, pillar one, temporal commitment. This is where the genius really starts. See, this system doesn't apologize for being 45 minutes long, it actually celebrates it. And that honesty acts as a huge filter right from the start. Only people with a real burning problem, high-intent leads, are going to commit that kind of time. By registering and blocking out their calendar, they are performing what you could call a self-selection ritual. They're literally voting with their time, telling themselves this problem is a priority. And that triggers a powerful psychological bias called the consistency principle. We all have this deep need to act in ways that are consistent with our past decisions. So they subconsciously want to justify the time they've already invested, which makes them way more open to what you have to say. Now, once they've committed that time, you have to deliver an experience that honors it. That brings us to pillar two, automated immersion. This all starts with just-in-time scheduling, which lets people watch the moment their curiosity is at its absolute peak. But the content itself is the main event. It uses what's called narrative transportation. It tells a story. It doesn't just list a bunch of facts. And critically, it frames your solution as a new opportunity, not just another improvement offer. See, an improvement is like, here's how to lose 10 pounds. A new opportunity is, here's the hidden metabolic flaw that's been making weight loss impossible for you. One sounds like a chore. The other feels like a revelation. And that's what keeps the brain locked in a state of active discovery, making it almost impossible to click away. And that leads us to the final pillar, the invisible handoff. You know that awkward moment in most sales presentations? That clunky, uncomfortable switch from here's some helpful information to now here's what I want you to buy? This architecture is designed to eliminate that completely. The value and the ask become inseparable. After you spent 40 minutes delivering huge insights, you trigger the reciprocity principle. That's our natural human instinct to give something back when we've been given something of value.
The viewer feels like they've just received a masterclass, so when your offer finally appears, it doesn't feel like a sales pitch. It feels like the logical, helpful next step.
And I want you to really let this sink in because this single reframe changes everything. The pitch is no longer an interruption. It's not the sales part. It is the implementation phase of the lesson you just taught. It's the direct answer to the question that's already forming in your viewer's mind. Okay, that was incredible. I see things in a whole new way now. So how do I actually do this? And that simple shift transforms the entire dynamic from a confrontation where you're trying to sell them to a consultation where you're trying to help them.
All right, so we've covered the what and the how of this system. Now, let's get into the deep psychology of why it's so incredibly effective. How on earth can 45 minutes of automated content manufacture real trust, enough for someone to make a high-ticket purchase from a total stranger? This, to me, is where it gets truly fascinating.
I mean, really think about that for a second. It's the holy grail of business, isn't it? How do you create genuine, human-level trust, but through an automated system over and over again? It sounds impossible, but the answer is actually rooted in two very powerful, very predictable drivers of human behavior. The answer is you leverage narrative and time. And look, these aren't just clever marketing buzzwords. These are fundamental to how our brains work, how we process information, how we make big decisions, how we form connections with others. When you combine a powerful story with a significant investment of time, you create this potent psychological cocktail that just systematically dismantles skepticism and builds desire.
Let's break these two down. First up, you've got narrative transportation. When you wrap your teaching inside a compelling story, you literally bypass your audience's skeptical, analytical brain. They stop nitpicking and they start experiencing. It's the same reason you lose all track of time during a great movie. And because our brains are hardwired for closure, there's this deep biological need to see how the story ends. Then, working right alongside that, you have the sunk cost fallacy. After someone has invested 30, 40 minutes of their focused attention, the idea of just clicking away empty-handed feels like a personal loss. It was their time, their effort. This creates a powerful internal pull towards your solution, not because you're pushing them, but because they don't want to waste the investment they've already made in themselves. Okay, so we've covered the theory and the deep psychology, but how do you actually do this? Let's switch gears and turn all of this insight into a practical, actionable blueprint you can use.
Mastery really comes down to executing 3 critical actions. Number 1, you have to run an AHA audit on your content. Number 2, you need to hard code that just-in-time schedule into your system. And number 3, you have to become obsessed with measuring and optimizing one single metric, your stay rate. The whole goal here is to build an automated asset that converts ice-cold traffic just as effectively as your best salesperson could on a live call.
Now, I really want to double-click on step 1, because this part is absolutely non-negotiable. The AHA audit. Your webinar cannot just be a random collection of tips and tricks. It must deliver a genuine paradigm shift. It has to give the viewer a fundamentally new way of seeing their problem. That single, powerful aha moment, that instant where they think, oh my gosh, I've been looking at this all wrong. That's what creates the value. That's what justifies the time they spent with you and cements your authority. Without that moment, the entire system just falls apart. And this brings us to the one metric that tells you if you're getting it right, the stay rate. It's a simple question. What percentage of people who start your webinar are still there watching when you make your offer? As you can see on this chart, the difference between average and mastery is huge. The industry average is a pretty dismal 25%, but mastery means you're getting over 60% of people to stick around. And this isn't some vanity metric. It is a direct measure of the value you are delivering. A high stay rate is the ultimate sign that sales are about to follow, because it proves you've truly earned their time.
So as we start to wrap this up, let's zoom all the way out to the big idea here. This entire framework forces us to stop thinking about attention as some commodity we have to steal and start seeing it as an investment we have to earn. And the currency you get from that investment is trust.
This is the cold, hard logic of what we're calling temporal trust. Put simply, the bigger the yes you are asking for, the longer the wait has to be. The size of the commitment has to be proportional to the time you're willing to invest to build the trust to get it. A tiny yes, like getting an email address, only requires a short wait, but a life-changing yes, like a high-ticket purchase, demands a much, much longer one. This system is built to honor that fundamental truth about human psychology. And that, ultimately, is what this is all about.
It's a fundamental shift from pushing people to pulling them. Instead of trying to force someone through a rigid funnel, you create an environment of such undeniable value that they are just naturally pulled toward the logical conclusion. The best marketing doesn't push people through a funnel, it pulls them toward value because it takes the time to prove it. And in a world that's only getting faster and louder, taking the time might just be the most powerful competitive advantage you can have.